They sold my childhood home behind my back. While I was in the hospital fighting for my life, they didn't even call to check if I was okay, just packed up my things, threw them in trash bags, and handed the keys to strangers like I never existed. Like this story already? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more shocking real-life twists that'll leave you speechless. Now let's dive back in. I'm Leah. I was 25 when the accident happened, a hit-and-run that left me in a coma for 3 weeks. When I woke up, my mom's first words weren't, "We're so glad you're alive." No. She said, "Well, since you weren't using the house, we sold it." That house was left to me by my grandmother. She'd made it clear in her will, it was mine. Paid off. No debt. No strings. But my parents didn't care. They said I was irresponsible, for not being married yet, for not having kids, for wasting space. The worst part? They didn't just sell it. They sold it to someone in the family. My cousin Alex, the same one who once tried to convince Grandma to change the will in his favor. The one who smirked at my hospital bedside and said, "Guess you finally learned life isn't fair." I walked out of that hospital with nothing but a hospital gown, a crushed spirit, and a plan, because what they didn't know was that I still had control of Grandma's second property. The one she never listed publicly. The one that came with an LLC I'd quietly been building behind the scenes. I used it to launch something powerful, something that was about to turn their entire world upside down, and when I walked into their new office a month later, in heels, holding contracts with my name in bold across the top, my mother's coffee cup slipped out of her hands, but that was just the beginning. My mother stuttered, "Leah? What are you doing here?" I smiled politely, placed the folder on her desk, and said, "You should probably read page 3. That's the part where I officially become your boss." She laughed nervously, glancing at my father, who looked like he'd just seen a ghost. My cousin Alex, sitting at the corner table, muttered, "This is some kind of joke, right?" But it wasn't a joke, you see. While they were busy mocking me for being lazy and directionless, I was quietly working nights from Grandma's second house, using the little money I had left to develop a real estate investment firm. That LLC? It had been buying properties across the city under a name no one recognized, including the building that now housed the corporate office my dad just got hired to manage. Funny thing is, he bragged about finally getting back on his feet after being jobless for a year. What he didn't know was that I signed his employment letter. The look on his face when I pulled up the security footage of him badmouthing me in the break room last week. "Priceless, I gave you everything," I said, trying to hold back tears. "And you threw me away the moment I became inconvenient." My mom jumped in, trying to sound sweet. "Honey, we didn't know. If you had just told us you were doing something," I cut her off. "Like you told me you were selling my house?" Silence, then I turned to Alex, who was scrolling on his phone like none of this mattered. "Oh, and you," I said, "you'll want to check your email. That fake lease you signed to avoid taxes? It's been reported." He froze. The entire room was quiet now, jaws clenched, faces pale, eyes wide, but I wasn't finished yet, because there was one final piece of information they didn't know, something that would shake their world far more than just finding out I ran the company, something hidden inside the very contract my father had just signed, and I was about to reveal it. I leaned forward and tapped the folder again. "Go ahead, Dad. Page 5. Read the clause at the bottom." His hands trembled as he flipped through the contract, scanning the lines until his eyes stopped. His face turned sheet white. My mom snatched the paper from him. Her voice cracked, "Effective immediately, all department heads report directly to the founder, Leah Monroe." That's when it hit them. Not only was I the owner, I had full control. Every project, every salary, every single decision passed through me. And then came the bombshell. "That building you're working in?" I said calmly. "It's part of a 5-property portfolio under Monroe Holdings LLC. That includes your new house, Alex. The one you bragged about renovating with your girlfriend." His head snapped up. I pulled out another set of documents, foreclosure notices, eviction clauses, asset reports. I bought them all, below market price. Legally. Quietly. And now, I hold the power to decide who stays, and who doesn't. My mom looked like she couldn't breathe. "You wouldn't do that to your own family. You already did it to me," I said. "When I was lying in a coma, you were signing my home away to someone who tried to erase my name from Grandma's legacy." I stood up slowly and added, but don't worry. I'm not here for revenge. I'm here for justice. Alex jumped in, panicking. Wait, Leah, we can work something out, okay? Family sticks together, right? I looked him dead in the eye. Funny. You never said that when you were stealing my inheritance. The silence was deafening, but I wasn't done yet. Because everything I'd just revealed? It was only the surface, there was still one contract they hadn't seen. One name they didn't recognize, yet, and when I handed it to them, everything would flip upside down. Alex opened the last envelope with shaking hands. His lips moved slowly as he read the top line, his voice barely a whisper. Wait, this can't be right. My father snatched the paper from him and stared at it, confused. Then suddenly, his eyes widened in horror. My mother gasped, no. That's the name of the investor who owns controlling shares in the entire firm. Exactly, I cut in. That mysterious silent partner everyone's been trying to track down? The one who funded the merger that gave our firm national reach? It's me. Their faces went blank. I had used a pseudonym, Elena Grace, for every high-level investment, kept myself invisible while I built an empire from the shadows. They never connected the dots. Because they were too busy mocking me, ignoring me, and treating me like I was disposable. But how? My dad finally managed to say. I kept receipts, I said coldly. Every betrayal. Every lie. Every time you said I'd never amount to anything. I didn't get mad. I got smart. Alex looked ready to vomit. Wait, does this mean you can fire all of us? I raised an eyebrow. I could. But I won't. You're going to stay right here, under my leadership. And you're going to watch every day as the girl you once called a burden runs circles around you. Then I turned toward the conference room windows, where the staff had started to gather, watching everything unfold in stunned silence. I smiled and walked to the door. Oh, and one more thing, I said, turning back. There's a company-wide meeting at 4 p.m. I'll be introducing myself publicly, and letting everyone know who their new executive director is. I paused, and who your replacements will be, if performance doesn't improve. Their faces crumbled, but even that wasn't the final twist, because tucked inside my bag was one more document, a secret I hadn't revealed to anyone yet. A move that would not only shift the power dynamic completely, but would put the entire company, and my so-called family, at my mercy. I waited until exactly 4 p.m., the entire staff filled the conference room, buzzing, whispering, confused. Word had already spread, the company had a new executive director. A silent partner was stepping out of the shadows. But no one knew who it was. When I stepped up to the podium, a wave of silence swept the room. A few jaws dropped. My father, sitting near the back, looked like he might pass out. My mother couldn't even look me in the eye. Alex sat frozen, his phone clutched in his hand like it could save him. I cleared my throat and began. Some of you know me as Leah Monroe. Some of you might remember me as the quiet girl who used to drop off coffee or file your reports. But starting today, you'll know me as the woman who built Monroe Holdings, the company that owns this building, your contracts, and yes, even your boss's job security. Gasps. Whispers. Then complete attention. I was dismissed. Undervalued. Left for dead. Literally. But I didn't disappear. I built. I learned. I watched. And while I was recovering from a near-death experience, the people who were supposed to protect me sold my house, the last thing my grandmother left me. My voice didn't shake. It cut, but now, I'm here. Not for revenge. For correction. And then, I pulled out the final envelope. This, I said, holding it up, is the signed agreement confirming a complete buyout of your remaining 40% shares, Dad. You sold them last year, cheap. Through a third party. Remember? He looked stunned. And Mom, your name was removed from the advisory board 2 weeks ago. You were too distracted playing the family martyr to read the memo. Then I turned to Alex. You'll be vacating the house you bought with stolen money. Because guess what? The deed never transferred. Grandma put a failsafe in place. And as her legal heir? I activated it. He shot up from his chair. You can't do this. I already did, I replied. I clicked the remote. Behind me, the screen lit up, showing company growth charts, property acquisitions, and finally, a headline: Young CEO turns family betrayal into $50 million empire, with one rule: never forgive those who sold you out. The room erupted in applause. Not out of obligation, out of respect, because I had done what they never expected. I rose from the ashes they buried me in, and now I owned everything, and they worked for me.